My darlings, my dreams, you have just started the last lesson in this unit. That's really great because that means that you can do this one last mastery check, and then you can do a practice test, and then I'll give you your real test. But it must feel good to be almost done this unit, this first unit. So congratulations. Let's celebrate by writing the date on our piece of paper. Woohoo! Because we're sweet organizationalists. We're going to put our name up top here, and let's start off with a purpose. 1.7. Order of operations. With rationals. And I mean rational numbers, not rational people. So, 2 students were asked to evaluate -8 minus 2 times 4 divided by -8 squared. Here are their 2 calculations. So we have some calculations here. Why did both of these students, why did both of these students get incorrect answers? Before we move on, let's even identify what this thing, this mnemonic is. It's BEDMAS. Now, I've heard some teachers don't like BEDMAS in your past. BEDMAS is a very helpful mnemonic, which means that it's a way that we can remember the steps in order. But your other teacher was totally right. We don't do BEDMAS. We choose the correct order of operations. But BEDMAS is a helpful little way for us to remember. So B is brackets. E is exponents. D is division, and I'm just going to do this together, division and multiplication. I'm just going to zoom in here a little. And multiplication. And adding and subtraction go together. So, beside any question that requires order of operations, what I like to do is I like to write that BEDMAS there, because then I can check. Okay, so here are their calculations. Let's use what we know about BEDMAS to see what they did wrong. So, B, E, D, M, A, S. So just to be clear, division and multiplication go together because you do division and multiplication from left to right. If you start out with multiplication in a question and then division comes later in the question or later in the expression, you would do what comes first. Okay, and in English we read from left to right. That's not in every language. All languages do it a little bit differently, but from left to right is the way that we do it. So, what did this person do first? Okay, they rewrote the question. Okay, that's all right. Then the next thing that they did was they had a -10. What actually happened here, folks, is that they chose to do the subtraction first. So they chose to do subtraction first here, which goes along with addition. But that actually should happen right at the end. So if I were to say, if I were to give these students numbers, student number 1 and student number 2, so student number 1 added first should have done brackets. So let's write BEDMAS again for student 2. So let's take out our highlighters again. So the first thing the student does is division in the brackets though. So this is what they did first, which makes me feel really happy. Good for you, student. That's really great, because you should do that. Unfortunately, the next thing the student does is multiplication and division, even though there is an exponent before. So then the next thing that they do is they do multiplication and division even though there's an exponent that needs to be completed. So student number 2, the mistake they made was they multiplied before exponents. So you can see you can get a very different answer depending on how you choose to do the question. And there really, honestly, in this circumstance, is only one correct answer. Maybe you take a little bit of a different route to get there, but there is only one correct answer. So what is the correct answer? So I'm going to be a good little student. -8 minus 2 times 24 divided by -8. Really what should happen here with this question is I should have the square brackets and go like that. The reason why is because it's just easy to see where the beginning and end of this bracket is. Because with this one right here, it's like, whoa, you see double brackets, or you see this bracket. And does it go with this bracket? It's just easier to keep pairs together. I'm going to write down bedmass. And I'm going to check it off as I do it. So, brackets first. I'm going to take my little highlighter here, and I'm going to do what's in the brackets first. So, I'm going to say, okay, -8. Now, yes, -8 is in brackets, but there's no actual operation that we need to do. So the brackets are just kind of like holders. Minus 2 times 24 divided by -8 is -2. So, no, it's -3. And we want to say squared. So then the next thing we need to do is exponents. And we do see that there are exponents. Now here's the tricky thing. We have -3 in brackets. Okay, so that's what's going to be squared. So I'm going to say 3 negative. I'm going to square it. It's going to be +9. So when I rewrite this right here, I'm going to say, oh, I should change. I don't want to be drawing in highlighter. So a -8 minus 2 times +9. Now I look here and I say, okay, division and multiplication. Now we did division first here, but that's because it was in brackets. Okay. What we need to do now is we need to do multiplication. -2 times 9. So I'm going to say, I'm going to drop the brackets here because I don't think that we need them anymore. So instead of saying -8 in brackets, we just go -8. Now you're welcome to keep it in the brackets if that helps you. -2 times 9 is -18. -8 minus 18 is going to be -26. Put a box around it because I like my teacher.